What's up, guys? Saf here on SuperSaf Speaks, and welcome to episode number 46 of the podcast with myself, your host, SuperSaf, and my co-host,
Thunder E from Border Work.
And we've got a jam-packed episode today. Actually, not as jam-packed as previous episodes, but we've got lots of leaks and rumors. This is the month where things are really starting to heat up. We've got some final leaks and rumors for the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, which is supposed to be coming very soon. Also, the Vivo X200 Ultra, which is turning out to look like an absolute camera monster. And we have to talk about the iPhone 17 leaks and rumors as well, because we've got some pretty new and updated designs which have had lots of mixed opinions. We'll talk about that too, as well as some Switch news. So let's get straight to it. I mean, the end of last month was a little bit quieter than normal, wasn't it, Inabong?
It was. We had that rush beginning of the year with just things happening. And it kind of slowed down at the end of March, which was good, in a sense. Thank God.
It was down to Ramadan and Eid. Eid Mubarak to everybody, by the way, who was celebrating.
Definitely.
But I was so glad. I was honestly so glad. I was just like, I'm glad it's cut quieter towards like the end of Ramadan, so you can kind of focus on, prayers and stuff. It's just not crazy like it normally is. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No. I mean, I agree. I think it was definitely needed, but things are heating back up again, as you can tell. The S25, I want to call it Ultra Edge. I don't know why it keeps coming. I'm so used to the Ultra naming.
They've been using it too much.
Yeah, exactly. So the S25 Edge, it should be coming out soon, right?
Yeah. So Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge, the current rumored launch date is the 15th of April. So just around the corner. We had a bit of a preview of it at Unpacked, but now we've started to see some full-on leaked renders, and these have been coming from windfuture.de. So these are official renders. We can see that there are 3 colors. They are rumored to be titanium jet black, titanium silver, and a titanium icy blue. Now, what's interesting is that this device is rumored to be around 5.84 millimeters thin, but there might be, this is the titanium names would suggest that the frame is titanium. Some rumors have said that it might be aluminium. But the most recent things that we're hearing is that the back is going to be ceramic. Now, that might be down to durability because it's going to be quite a thin device. I mean, titanium would make sense for the frame, but for the back, to just make it a little bit more durable, ceramic.
I think that makes sense.
Apart from that, a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED screen is rumored. Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, either 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Only 2 cameras, as we've seen from the models that they also showed. But these are rumored to have a 200 megapixel resolution for the primary camera and a 12 megapixel resolution for the ultra-wide camera. Now, here's something that's interesting. Recent leaked certifications from Denmark show that the battery is going to have a 3,786 milliamp hour capacity, which is the equivalent of the rating of 3,900 milliamps, which is quite small.
Un poquito.
And finally, the pricing is likely to be what's rumored between 1,200 to 1,300 euros, which puts it above the S25 Plus, but below the S25 Ultra. I mean, that battery. That's not a big battery. I know it's a slim device, and that's probably the maximum they could have fit inside, but that's, considering that you've got, a 5,000 milliamp hour battery on the S25 Ultra, you've got a slightly smaller, but still a large battery on the S25 Plus. So, I don't know, especially for that price, who is this for is my question.
Yes. The battery is a concern, especially with some of the other rumors out there. None of them have been kind of, verified about Samsung not switching over to silicon carbon batteries, which, allow you to pack more in a smaller space, which again, these numbers are saying it's not more in a smaller space. It's less in a lesser space, right? So to speak.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I really don't know what's going to happen. The benefit is that the Snapdragon 8 Elite is still a very good chipset in handling batteries and things like that in terms of just usage. So there's that. But, it kind of begs the question, like you said, who's this for? Also, um, Samsung, your competitors are doing some really interesting things in terms of like with battery charging, all that stuff. And they've been doing it for years.
This is the thing. I don't know. So here's my theory, because look, if you ask, I'm pretty sure if you ask most people, all right, will you pay more, slightly less and get the S25 Plus, which is going to give you, a better display because it's going to be Quad HD instead of Full HD. You're going to get a bigger battery. You're going to get wireless charging, which, as far as I can see, there are no rumors of this having wireless charging because it's so thin. Obviously, you're going to have the telephoto camera, so you've got an additional camera there as well. So it's kind of like, okay, you get the 200 megapixel, but is it worth spending more for getting less in many other areas? Or do you just go slightly more and get the S25 Ultra, which, yeah, you're not going to get that thinness and the lightness, which the S25 Edge is rumored to have, but then you're getting a full-fledged device with a bigger battery, a better screen. You've got much better cameras overall. You've got wireless charging. You've got so many of these things that the S25 Ultra, the S Pen, I almost forgot about that, without Bluetooth. But you've got all of these things, right? So then it's just like, who is this for? I know exactly who it's for.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's not in particular for anybody. It is purely, or at least primarily, just to get a thin device out there before Apple does, because Apple is rumored to have an iPhone 17 Slim, or whatever it may be called. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. My theory is that Samsung was like, okay, this is rumored, Apple's definitely going to be doing this. Let's get something slim out before they do.
Okay, I can see that, but launch it in August, right? Like, give it to us even with the fold, but do it right. Like, spend the time to do it right. Whether you switch to silicon carbon batteries, whether like with the camera sensors, right? 200. I wish they went with either 200 megapixels, just because I really like what Vivo's doing with the telephoto there with their 200 megapixel sensor. And here's the funny part: Vivo is using Samsung's newer sensor. The S25 Ultra is not using the newer sensor. So just
Yes.
putting that out there, right? Like, if you gave me that, then this will, even though
Yeah.
I don't have the ultra wide, then I go, okay, this is really stacked for what I'm getting. Let's hope.
I don't know. So, see, the thing is with that is because obviously they have the fold and the flip coming out around summertime, right? So I think in terms of timing, this is the only time they could do it, right? Okay, January, we've had the S25 series. All right, February, March, now April. And then you have May, June-ish time, when June, July time is when they're going to be launching the fold series. So this is the only time they could have released it. No?
No. Maybe even better. Launch it like how the Chinese manufacturers are doing, with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 2. Better processor. Like, it's just a nice premium. Like, I get it. I get what I think that's what you're saying is absolutely logical and correct. But I think it's gonna fall on its butt because of
No, but this is the thing, though.
Happen.
This is the thing. I think all of these things that you're mentioning, right, they make sense, but that's not the purpose of this device. This device's purpose is purely, let's get there before Apple does, so we can, kind of claim the throne that we were the first to the thinner device, right? Okay, and I literally think that's what it is. It's just one of those devices that I don't think they're going to be caring hugely about. I don't think they're going to have a huge event around it. I think it's just going to be one of those that, hey, we can do it sort of a thing. Kind of like what we had with the Fold 6 Special Edition, right? Okay. They didn't release it everywhere kind of thing. It was just kind of like, oh, hey, we can do it, right? Yeah, we can do it. We're Samsung. We can do a lot of stuff, right? I literally think that's what it is, because I genuinely cannot see the appeal for this compared to some of the other devices. And there might be a very small demographic out there that might want that device. But, I mean, things like the battery concerning, we'll still be checking it out when it releases. 15th of April is the rumored date to keep in your diaries. Now, another device that's also rumored to be coming out in April is the Vivo X200 Ultra. Now, this thing looks absolutely stacked. We've checked out the Vivo X200 Pro, which, has arguably one of the best camera sensors out there right now. The Vivo X200 Ultra is rumored to come in 3 colorways, a white, a black, and a burgundy. The white's going to have a bit of a two-tone finish, apparently. But what's more interesting is around the cameras. So it looks like we have a 50 megapixel primary camera, a 50 megapixel ultra wide. But the interesting thing here is both the primary and the ultra wide will be using, apparently, the same sensor. The Sony LYT818. This is a 1/1.28 inch sensor. And I believe this might be the first time a smartphone is using the exact same primary sensor for both the main as well as the ultra wide camera. We always see that ultra wide cameras are generally weaker than the primary cameras. This is something that we've seen across the board. You might have a high, a decent resolution, but it's just never the same. It's just not got that same sharpness and detail as a primary sensor. Looks like Vivo's about to change that, as well as a humongous 200 megapixel periscope telephoto camera. The other thing that's also rumored is that it's going to have 2 dedicated imaging chips as well. So that's going to be something else that's going to be quite unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I'm personally very excited.
Oh, I am, especially how well the Vivo X200 Pro performed. And, there was an article that quoted the CEO or one of the execs from Vivo stating that its video stabilization matches or it's better than what the iPhone does, which is huge. Remember, we say this all the time, and you'll find from your favorite creators is that they use their iPhones a lot, especially for B-roll. If you want to capture something quickly, we do that a lot because it's very good stabilization. And Saf knows this is me. This is me recording right here.
I can testify to that.
So having an Android phone that can get to that kind of level, I think is absolutely great. And I think maybe that's why they also went for that extra, the additional chipset, in there to hit all the marks and also just handle what they're trying to do. But I'm really excited to see this because it's been, I wouldn't say necessarily stale, but I think Vivo kicked off the year really strong, the end of last year really strong by saying, "Hey, look, guys, this we have the camera to beat," and they're taking the mark to the next level.
Now you mentioned the Samsung sensor. They've got the Samsung ISO cell HP9, so that's going to be for the telephoto camera. And yes, product manager Han Boxayo on Weibo has been teasing some images. So we've got some really nice ultra wide images that they've been sharing. I mean, obviously these are the images they share, which will be the best of the best. But looking at the Vivo X200 Pro, what we've had previously, these look promising. And the stabilization as well. They've compared it to the iPhone, which is one of the kings of stabilization, and it looks pretty good. Snapdragon 8 Elite, 100 watts of charging is rumored, but there's some bad news, potentially. From what we're hearing right now, the Vivo X200 Ultra may not make it out of China. Just let's have a moment of silence there, because that is such a bummer, man. Like, come on, it's like you've got all of these exciting specs, right? It looks like an absolute amazing smartphone with amazing cameras, and then it's looking like right now, as far as we can tell from the rumors, that it won't be coming outside of China. If that's the case, oh man, that is so sad.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, they do like doing that global launch after China launch, and it's possible. It's possible that it might come out later on this year. But from everything we've seen, we need that phone. Look, Vivo, if you guys are watching, please, just send 2 units over to myself and SuperSaf, and then we'll help spread the word for you. For fee. That's it. Just get them over to us, because like with the Vivo X200 Pro, I did get it, but it was a good few weeks after the original release. So if we can get hold of the Vivo X200 Ultra, it'd be great. I mean, we've got the Xiaomi 15 Ultra as well recently. I mean, things are really kind of getting competitive, especially on the camera side of things when it comes to Android. And this is something that, we definitely want to check out and keep on top of. The Vivo X200 Ultra, we're going to be hearing more about it. It's rumored to come out this month, so there'll be more information on that soon. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, next up, iPhone 17. There have been so many leaked CAD designs, dummies, renders, And we have to talk about it because it looks like we've got somewhat of a refreshed design from all of these leaks and rumors.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone 17 looks like it might be pretty much the same. So very similar design. But the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max have this interesting looking section around the camera module, right? So we still have the triple cameras, but then there's this like module which continues on all the way to the edges, right? And then it looks like, apparently according to these leaks rumors, that there will no longer be an iPhone 17 Plus. So they're going to get rid of the Plus model. This has been the least popular. I mean, I can say that that has been the case based on views for the iPhone 16 Plus and the iPhone 15 Plus. It's just not had as much interest compared to the other devices. That is then going to be replaced by an iPhone 17 Air or an iPhone 17 Slim. We're not sure what they're going to be calling it. This is going to be a slimmed down version, and it has a visor across the back, which reminds me a lot of the Pixel devices as well as the Nexus. You remember the Nexus?
Yep. Yeah, Nexus 6P.
That's what it's looking like. We've got some of these leaked dummies from Sonny Dixon. We've got some renders here from Private Talkly, which kind of show what it might look like. Of course, we've got some amazing renders from Technizo Concept. I mean, my thing is, from the leaked dummies, things don't look amazingly exciting, I'm going to be honest. But what I've noticed with Apple devices in general is you see the leaks and the renders and stuff, but then when they actually release the final device, it does look a lot more polished. It looks a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
What do you think of the design?
I have mixed views on the design. I think that it feels a little weak in a sense. Just because you put a bar across doesn't mean that it's anything new. It's like what Samsung did from the S21 to the S22, or S20 to the S21. You know, it's a physical change that doesn't really amount to anything in there, but it does change the look of the device, which is a good part, which a lot of people are looking for. I think it will also change a lot of mindsets, because what I saw this year, I'm using my own house and family as an example, is I came back from Apple. I showed my wife the iPhone 16 Pro Max. She looked at it. She's like, it's the same. And I showed her the camera control. She's like, I'm keeping my phone from last year. So, you know, there are people like that. There are a lot of people like that. So hopefully that will at least spur them to be like, oh, this looks different. So definitely, you know, it's a very different phone. I think the design for the Air might be the most striking, just because it's also a thin device. So that kind of adds more to it. And that's the one that would stand out more. We might see a higher uptake there. And I think this is where, you know, if you look at it compared to what Samsung is doing, the rumors of taking away the Plus really comes in and goes, look, if you want an iPhone, you can get an iPhone. If you want the Pro iPhone, the best Pro Max, you can always get that. And then there's the different iPhone, right? But there's no Plus. And it still falls in line with like, get whatever iPhone fits your style or your use case. So basically a regular iPhone, a Pro iPhone, then of course there's a Max version, and then the Plus for the stylish, right? I mean, so the Air for the stylish individual, or somebody who wants something different.
I thought you almost said stylus, and I was like, whoa, what's this? Well, I don't think it's going to be on the Air anyway, but I don't think Apple are going to do that on their smartphones anytime soon. But what's interesting is, the design, let's be honest, like when you look at the iPhone 11 Pro and the Pro Max, okay, you look at that, you go to the 12 Pro Max, 13, 14, 15, 16. They all have a similar design. Now, granted, they did make the edges flat on the iPhone 14, so 3 years in, they made a little bit of change, but it still has that similar sort of design. So I think it is about time that Apple do refresh their designs and kind of at least make an attempt to make things look a little bit more different. I think from the three, the one that makes me most interested and I'm most excited about checking out is the iPhone 17 Air. That looks like the most different design from all of these, right? Because of that visor sort of thing at the top. The others, from the renders, I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to see these in person when they do come out. There are some other early leaks. There's not really anything verified. It's looking like we might get ProMotion technology across all of the devices, which would be good. I mean, it finally will make a lot of the Android fans shut up because they've been saying it for years. It's like, oh, it's only got 60 hertz and it's $800. So we're going to have less of that complaining in the comments. It's just like, bro, I didn't make the displays.
Yeah.
Don't get angry at me, please.
Hmm.
So let's see what's gonna come in the next few months. Apple generally releases their iPhones in September, so that's when we're probably gonna find out. But we're gonna see more leaks and rumors coming up as the time goes by. But for now, these designs seem to be very accurate from what we can see because they have been verified by many leakers and people who do share rumors. Although, having said that, do you remember when there was the Apple Watch Series 10? There was all these leaks and rumors about how it's going to look different, and then
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
who knows? Who knows? They might just do all of this because sometimes what happens is you get case manufacturers. Shout out to all the case manufacturers who just go around on leaking sprees, right? It's so funny because that's where all the leaks come from, right? So, for example, Apple or Samsung or other manufacturers will provide like a dummy for case manufacturers to kind of work around, okay? Now, the renders and everything kind of come from there. Generally, people haven't seen the physical device. They're just basing it off on these cases. Now, the example I can give you, a lot of Samsung devices, they had like a P-shaped cutout at the back, and then people made a P-shaped camera module, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at those triple rings with the two for the telephoto camera and the IR sensor, and then that's what people were showing renders of on leaks and rumors. But then when the actual device came out, it wasn't anything like that. You know what I mean? So it was just the cutout was just the way it
Yeah.
was, right? So but it was flat. So I wonder if that, especially because it's just this module at the back. I mean, is there going to be something different? Is there going to be a screen at the back? I don't know. There might
Did
be
you
something
just say a
interesting. Let's see.
screen at the back? Come on, please. Know your
Who knows?
customer. Know your customer.
Well, I'm just saying that, some of these might be like, oh, but we never know. They might look a little bit different when they do come out. Obviously, leaks and rumors are based on these CAD designs and leaked cases and dummies. The final product will look better, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I agree.
I might be wrong. We'll see. All right. Last up, Nintendo Switch 2. Now, Enabong, I'm going to hand this over to you because you are more of a Switch man than I am. I sold my Switch quite a few years ago now.
I mean, I feel you. Well,
I've got the ROG Ally. I mean, that's the thing. I've got the Ally, so
we will get to that question after I talk about the Switch 2. So Nintendo had its Nintendo Direct on April 2nd, actually the day we recorded this. And they fully announced the Switch 2 with all its specs in glory. So the Switch 2 comes with a 7.9-inch display, which is larger from its previous version. It is an LCD display, not an OLED, even though Switches, they do have OLEDs, original Switches.
Yep.
Although this is 120 hertz, it's a 1080p display. Now, the Joy-Cons are now magnetic, so you don't have to slide them in anymore. And they also double as a mouse as well. So for certain games that will use that, you would have that kind of functionality. Think first-person shooters and think also like a Civilization, Sims, those kind of games. But each Joy-Con will actually be able to do that. So you don't have to select or pick any. You can pick any one you choose. Now, it comes with 256 gigabytes of storage, 2 USB ports, one on the top, one at the bottom. Then it also has the ability to go to 4K to an external display, either TV or monitor, whatever you choose, through the dock. The dock has a built-in fan to ensure that it stays cool while it's actually pumping out higher graphics. So the system can go up to 4K, but while you're playing mobile, 1080p, which honestly is fine, really. You don't want to go 4K or anything higher. Nintendo did announce its price point. The Switch 2 It's going to be priced at $449 for the console, which becomes the most expensive console Nintendo has ever put out there on the market. You can get the bundle with Mario Kart World, which is a new Mario Kart game. It's an open world game. Think Forza Horizon 5, where you can race, but you can also just drive around like, Koopa Kingdom and all those different places in Mario. And then the game prices. This is the big one. Some games, a game was listed at $79.99, so $80 for a Switch game. So that is the Nintendo Switch 2. They do have a camera that's also a camera accessory, which allows you to, not necessarily voice chat, but basically do multiplayer gameplay. So your face comes in icons. They actually showed a really cool, innovative way of how it's mixed in. It's not necessarily a voice like you in a corner, but it kind of animates with your character, especially with the Mario games, the Mario parties and things like that. There's also a new Pro controller as well with a remappable button at the back. But it looks like an improved Switch, which we've been waiting for. But Saf, what do you think? What do you think about the pricing and the new Switch?
I think with the Switch, honestly, like, it's an amazing device, don't get me wrong. The only thing I kind of found is I just didn't have enough time to game. So I kind of switched away from it, should we say.
Oh, wow. Save us.
Anyway,
Save us, please.
And then I went on to the ROG Ally, right? And now the thing that I love about the Ally is that I can play PC games, right? And yes, I know it can be, because it's running Windows, it can be a little bit clunky here and there. But I found it fine. You've got Xbox Games Pass, right? I personally, I played a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, and even the ROG Ally X, I played that a lot. I haven't played it in a while, I'll be honest, just not had enough time. But it's something that, especially if I was on a plane sort of a thing, I could just pull out and play. But I had those titles. Now, granted, I am not the target audience for the Switch. I know there's a lot of people who love The Legend of Zelda and other games, like you were mentioning, Mario Kart. And for those people, it's perfect, and it has more of a wider target audience than something like the Ally does. But I am the audience of the Ally rather than the Switch. So that's my summary.
That's definitely correct, because I've seen a lot of commentary online. I am Random Frank P, good friend of mine, was like, add an extra $100. I was $50 to $100 and get yourself like a Steam Deck or like a base Ally. And the other side is like, well, like just exactly like you said, it's not meant for the PC gamer, because Random Frank was like, oh, there are emulators that can emulate Switch games. I was like, shh, let's just keep that on the on the low. But one thing that I found interesting was Nintendo also mentioned a game called Welcome Tour, which is a game built around the Switch itself, where it helps you learn about the console. Also, it's just fun. Nintendo does things like this all the time, right? But the main thing here is that this game is not free. And, our good buddy Snazzy Labs Quinn was like, well, in 2007, Nintendo released the Wii with Wii Sports, and that was included. And that really got people into playing the Wii, right? In 2025, Nintendo is expected to actually charge for the Welcome Tour, which is a big departure from what they had in the original. And also, this is not a Mario game. This is not a Zelda game. This is not a game which you want to buy. This is a Welcome Tour. So, things might change. The console is launching on June 5th. I believe pre-orders will start April 9th. So you can go ahead and pre-order it. Nintendo, I think other places like Best Buy will have that availability. But it's be interesting to see how this actually works out. A lot of the rumors said the pricing was supposed to be $400, which I also find it quite funny, because a lot of people are like, if it was $400, it's better. At $450, I'm annoyed. I'm like, really? Is that $50 really the thing that is holding you back? Or if you said it was $100, I definitely understand. But really, is it that $50?
Interesting. I think the key thing for me was I was going to say, is it backwards compatible? Apparently it is. So
it is. It is backwards compatible.
If you've got a collection of your games from Switch, then you can still play them, which is good.
And the I think the best feature which they announced is the game card. So basically, I have a Switch game. I can play online with Saf, even if he doesn't have the game, by just sharing my game with him, like old school gaming. So you don't have to be locally with a person. If you want to play a game, multiplayer, I'm like, hey, let's hop on. I share it with him. He can play, which is great.
Yeah.
I think that at least is a nice added benefit, which I know a lot of people are not thinking about. But once like I don't know, let's pretend like a Call of Duty or whatever. Oh, Smash Brothers, sorry, that's the game that has big multiplayer. Once the Smash Brothers comes on Switch, the new one, and you want to play with a friend, they don't necessarily have to buy it if they want to play with you, which is it's beneficial.
That's interesting, and I, as I said, I do think it's going to be popular. I remember around lockdown time, everybody wanted a Switch. You couldn't even get one because of how popular Animal Crossing was. It just went crazy, and then all my nieces got one, and like people who I wasn't even expecting to want a Switch had a Switch. So
Yeah.
it does have its target audience, and I think it's going to be popular. But I might cover it. We'll see. But Enabong's definitely going to be covering it. So stay tuned for that. Now, that's all we have time for. It's a shorter episode than usual. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do subscribe and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. We are at SuperSaf Speaks, and also drop us a rating on your favorite podcast streaming platform with Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube Music, which now has the podcasting feature. This is why I'm getting confused, because there's too many of these, right? And we're going to be posting lots of clips and shorts on the social media channels, and we will be back next month with another episode. This has been Saf, your host, along with my co-host
Thunder E from Border Work
on SuperSaf Speaks, and we'll see you next time.